And we're live. Kayla, thank you so much for taking the time. It's really a pleasure and an honor to have you on my show. I'm a huge fan of you as a person and as a fighter, so thank you for taking the time today.
Well, thank you. I actually did a little research on you, and I'm kind of a fan of you now, too. I can't wait to dig into some podcasts.
Amazing.
When I have a moment to breathe.
Well, I know you're fresh off of practice, but is there a little something that the world doesn't know about Kayla Harrison?
I think something the world doesn't know about Kayla Harrison. This is like a tough one. I could go so many directions with this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to keep it light since we'll probably go into a lot of dark, deep stuff. And the thing that people don't know about Kayla Harrison is she hates mushrooms with a passion.
Wow.
Don't eat mushrooms. So don't ever try to feed me mushrooms.
Did you have a moment in that triggered this disgust for mushrooms?
Just the texture. They're just yucky.
So no, not even if they're cooked, not even if they're any other way, just done.
No.
Is there
no mushrooms, no olives? Those are my two. That's it.
Interesting.
I'll eat everything else.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of other things free to indulge in.
Yes.
So I want to take you on a quick path because I know you just came back from training. You said, and I don't want to misquote you, but I think you said something in the realm of you go from being a bad bitch to changing 15 diapers a day. It really changes your life. And I guess that you just did that since you're back from training. I don't know if you changed any diapers recently, but I think that that's like a really, first of all, I think that people that know your story or don't know your story, especially in the last year and a half, 2 years, is an unbelievable one because even up to that point, you had such an unbelievable life. And now in the past year and a half, you've become a mother. And so, I mean, I know you've been asked a lot about this, obviously recently, but what's it like, in this past year and a half, almost 2 years, I imagine, of really being a mother and also being, one of the baddest bitches on the planet?
Well, okay. So for your listeners who don't know, I actually, I became the guardian of my niece and nephew, Kayla, who is 8, and Emery, who is 2. And I'm actually in the process of adopting them now. So big, that's a big breaking news, I guess, kind of. But really the last year and a half of my life have been, well, my whole life has been a roller coaster, but I would say that I'm getting to the point now where when I first got them, it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, it's like, you don't have kids, right?
I don't.
Yeah. So it's like all of a sudden you're in charge of these 2 lives and you go from, I mean, my life was very shallow and very empty. And like, I would wake up, I would eat, I would train, I would lay out by my pool, hang out with my dogs, like have Taco Tuesday with my friends, go to an arcade or go mini golf, just do stupid stuff all day long and then train again and then eat again and then sleep and repeat over and over and over and over again and then go win fights and then make money. And that was it. That was my whole existence. But it was really, really empty. And I didn't know that. Like, you don't know, you can't miss what you don't know, I guess. And, tragedy hit. And my mom had custody of the kids. She had a stroke in 2019. She's recovering. But then in May of last year, her husband, who had been taking care of her, taking care of Kayla, taking care of Emery, he very suddenly passed away. And my mom was, still recovering from her stroke, still struggling a little bit with memory and mental and physical coordination, just things like that. Couldn't drive yet. So it was kind of like a do or die situation. Like, I'm sure my family could have rallied and all taken care of them, but my grandparents are getting older. My mom is getting older, and I love them. I had no idea how much I love them until I got them, but it was kind of just like, all right, we're doing this. So we packed up and we moved, I drove us down to Florida from Ohio. A long drive by myself. And the 2-year-old Emery screamed for about the first 4 hours of the car ride. And I left at night so that he would sleep. I was like, all right, I'm going to leave at like 7 p.m. He'll pass out in the car. I'll make it halfway. I'll make it to Atlanta. We'll stop. And that didn't work. But I knew nothing about babies. So it was just like, we just learned as we went. Like it was really scary those first couple months. But we have gotten into a groove. Like we are, I don't know. It's so weird. It's so hard I could talk about this all day. We could do a whole podcast on this, but like to see Kayla go from being 35 pounds at 7 years old, like not extremely, but malnourished. Every meal was like crying. I want my mommy. I want to go home. I miss Ohio. Like just stuff that breaks your heart, because these kids' lives have also been turned upside down. Emery crying. He knows me, but he's never lived with me. All of a sudden, the man that was his father figure is gone. His lovey is gone. So they just went through a lot of trauma. And even though I was scared shitless, I realized like it was my job to step up and give them a safe, happy, healthy, secure environment. Like that's what they needed to thrive. So, with a lot of help, that's what I did. I was pretty persistent and, I never let Kayla, like, you can cry. It's okay to miss your mommy. It's okay to want to go home, but you still have to eat your eggs. And Emery they both call me mom now. Just to see how they've blossomed and thrived in just a year. Like Kyla's 50 pounds. She eats everything but mushrooms too.
I heard she eats steak and eggs. I heard she eats steak and eggs with you.
She does. She's a little beast. She is. She used to be afraid of the water, like wouldn't even get her head wet in the shower. Now she's like doing front flips into the pool. Emery is like going to give me a heart attack because he's a little daredevil. He'll just like walk into the pool and he has no idea what the depth is. So like he'll walk off the steps or he'll walk in the deep end and he's just like, oh, whatever. Just like she's got her best friend lives right next door and they have sleepovers and it's just been like a really amazing time in my life where it hasn't been all about me for the first time in my life. And it's almost like I didn't even know it, but it's made me even happier. I won't say happy. I would say it's brought me so much peace. Like happiness to me is a myth. Like this is not happiness is right now. Happiness is this moment right now. Like it's a choice, but it's brought me so much peace and just kind of changed my worldview. And I think as much as it's helped them, it's helped me too. It's made me a better person.
And for you, I'm curious as to, maybe the differences of what you first expected when taking on, obviously, this massive challenge and what the reality has been like, and if it's matched up to some of those expectations or some of those thoughts that you thought it would be.
I don't know what I expected. I think probably like a rom-com or something where it was going to be like a lot of like, oh, we're going to go to the park and we're going to go to the zoo and we're going to it's going to be beautiful and we'll do all these fun things and you're going to love me and there's never going to be a mess or I was very unrealistic.
Yeah. So the reality is I spend 50% of my time cleaning up messes. I am a single working mom, so I'm blessed, I guess, in a sense that I don't work a 9 to 5. I train, we have pro class, so that's kind of every day at the same time. But then my scheduling with my coaches, I've been able to work out where in my sparring and stuff, I've been able to work out where I go when Emery naps and Kayla is in school. And then we go to gymnastics and we have mommy and me gymnastics and we have tutoring and we have, physical therapy for Kayla. And so we've gotten into a rhythm where we have a routine, but we don't get to do a ton of, like, by the time I get to Saturday, I'm like, I can barely walk. So I always want to like take them to the park or go to the zoo or like go to the museum. And I have a whole list. We have a whole list that we're trying to get through. But in all reality, usually we go to church and then we go to like Texas Roadhouse for lunch. And then maybe after nap, we'll go to the bookstore. And that's it.
I'm wondering for you, do you feel like, and for people that know you, they know this, for people that are getting to know you, it is unquestionable that you are, you know, really, in my opinion, one of the most dominant athletes in the world currently, and all time for especially American athletes. But do you feel like this is perhaps your single biggest accomplishment?
Hands down, without question. I mean, listen, winning an Olympic gold medal is so hard. I'm not ever going to deny that. It is a lifelong journey, and it takes an entire village and years of sacrifice, years of, you know, the roller coaster that I talked about. That is life. But, you know, a world title, an MMA world title, an undefeated record, 2 Olympic gold medals doesn't hold a candle to this this journey, this thing that I'm doing with this family. You know, we're a family. We call ourselves the Wolf Pack. Mostly because that's the only sound Imri will make right now. He's just like, oh, all. But no, I mean, no. If anyone, like, people who have kids will tell you it's the hardest job in the world. And I swear to God, they're not lying. I've done a lot of things in my life. It is definitely the hardest job in the world, but it's also the most rewarding. Like, it is just, like I said, just seeing them blossom. You know, Imri will, like, I'll say, Mommy loves Imri, and he'll say, Imri loves Mommy more. And like, just like stupid stuff like that, where you just like, your heart's going to burst and you can barely breathe. And you're like, oh my God. It's the most amazing. It's definitely the most amazing thing, hardest thing, but most rewarding thing I'll ever do in my life.
Do you feel like also because you know, I mean, it's hard enough to be an MMA fighter. It's hard enough to be an MMA world champion, and you guys put your bodies through hell, mentally, emotionally, everything through hell. Then you take on this unbelievable role. Are you still able at times to take some time for Kayla and just relax, or to or what are some of those ways, if you can't do it maybe the way you'd like to, where you can find some peace, you know, and have some alone time for yourself?
Yeah, that's been tough. That's been honestly probably the hardest struggle for me since becoming a mom. Is like, I feel like I have a limited amount of time in the day. I have so much that I want to accomplish. I have so many responsibilities. That me time has kind of gone by the wayside a little bit. What I have been trying to do is, after every fight, my mom comes down when I fight, unless it's a 17-day bubble and then the kids come with me. But she will come down and stay with the kids. And then usually I'll come home, and then I'll go after my fight. I'll go for like 3 days, and I'll just like get away and like completely unwind, try and shut off my phone, try and not look at social media. I'll FaceTime the kids and just like relax, try and breathe and reset almost, you know, which probably isn't the healthiest thing, because if you have to reset, then you probably need to have a little better balance in your life. But I don't know. So far it's working. We'll see.
Who do you think, are there any people that you would say maybe keep you the most in check mentally and emotionally, and that you're able to kind of lean on in times where I imagine, I mean, obviously you're exhausted, but also where things get hard? Because I'm sure along the way there's probably been, in motherhood and obviously in your sports career, some, you know, doubts and, you know, trials and tribulations.
Well, I mean, my judo coaches, Jimmy and Big Jim, Pedro, you know, I still talk to Big Jim once a week, and usually vent or cry or complain. You know, he always told me it's an athlete's privilege to bitch. And I'm like, well, it should be a mother's privilege as well.
you get two, you get both.
Yeah, I get 2 for 1 special. But, you know, he's still a huge part of my life, role model, best friend, whatever. Like he's all of it. My coaches down here, you know, they really help keep things in perspective for me. You know, some of my best friends are the manager of ATT, Richie, and the owner, Dan Lambert. Like, I hang out with a lot of old dudes who I think I have like an old guy brain, like sick sense of humor or something maybe. So I fit right in with that crowd. But I've also actually, since I got the kids, I've started going to church down here. And that was something that, you know, it's still kind of new for me to talk about. Like, I've always had a deep faith, like a deep sense of faith since I was a little girl. Like my journal entries when I was 8 years old were to God. You know, it was dear God. Wow. They were like my prayers. And I would say, amen, you know, love always, Kayla, amen. There's a little scream. But it was always kind of very personal to me. So I haven't really talked about it a lot. But since I got the kids, we've started going to church. And not that I'm going to force that on them or push them to anything, but I think it just really was important to me that we find people, not that I don't love the gym and my friends, but none of them have kids. Most of them don't have kids. Most of them are still in a little bit of a young phase of life that I am no longer in. You know, I'm not going out to the club until 3:00 in the morning ever again, probably. So, it was important to me to find like-minded people with kids and, just kind of the sense of the values and the morals that are brought up through church. I don't necessarily, religion is a broken system. It's a man-made system, but faith and the things you can learn through faith and love and that are things that I want my kids to grow up knowing. So I think I've gotten a really good balance where I have, you know, this like MMA Kayla who talks a lot of shit and kicks ass and is one of the baddest bitches on the planet. But I also have really found an amazing family down here through my faith and through the kids that does change 15 diapers a day and does say grace at every meal and does, you know, have a prayer list and a gratitude list and say our prayers every night, talk about who we're thankful for and what we're grateful for today and what we hope for tomorrow. So it's just, I found a really good balance with all of it.
Do you think that being, becoming a mother, I guess, perhaps brought on this sense of faith even more as you said, you started going to church with them? I mean, how so, and what, you know, on a personal level, what was that kind of like to maybe make that realization now that obviously it's bigger than you? You want them to have, you know, proper morals and values. But mm-hmm. I'm kind of, curious and interested on how becoming a mother really kind of channeled this faith or this desire to go to church and do more of that kind of.
Well, I mean, I think it was just like a lot of fear. Mm-hmm. Again, being overwhelmed, like picking up 2 kids and driving them down to live with you overnight. Like in all of the trials in my life and all of the shittiest moments of my life, I've really leaned on my faith and leaned on God and cried and begged and prayed a lot. And when I got the kids, it was no different. You know, I was like in my journal, dear God, like, please help me. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Give me the strength to figure this out. Give me the courage. Give me the wisdom to find a way, basically. I didn't pray for it to like be fixed. I just prayed to be stronger. And that's something that I've learned and grown into. You know, when I was younger, I used to pray like, please make it stop. Please make it stop. Please make it stop. But now I realize that everything happens for a reason. And just help me figure this out. Help me find a way. And that, again, like becoming a mom, finding this peace. I don't even know why I looked up church, to be honest with you. Like just one day, probably because it was in the middle of a quarantine and nothing was open. And you know, Kyla, Emery, and I were going insane in the house. So I was like, something happened, and I looked up churches, and this church was open, and we went, and we've been going ever since. And it's been a really amazing experience. They've really become like solid part of my foundation in our lives. You know, I can lean on them. I can't tell you how nice these people are, how great, like, do you need babysitting? Do you need meals? Do you need just wrapped their arms around us,
Wow.
you know, and haven't let go. And it's been really cool.
And do you think that, you know, in terms of the long run, it's something that both Kyla and Emery, you know, might go towards? I know you said you don't want to press it on them, but I'm curious, you know, when young kids are brought up and all of a sudden start going to church, you know, it could. I have some friends that they like it, they don't, but you know, I do think that what you're saying is very inspiring in terms of, you know, growing a new community and new friendship. Do you think it's something that that they're also acknowledging and seeing themselves now, or are they still a little too young?
Yeah, I think that, you know, of course, Kyla is 8. Like, some days she's like, do we have to go to church? And I'm like, yes, we have to go to church. And then she goes there and has a great time with all of her friends in Sunday school. And I'm like, see, I told you, like, listen to mom. And again, it's not something, I know that faith is a very personal journey, but I want to lead by example. And, you know, I just think the Christian way, like, the tagline for our church is love, serve, go, you know, so everything is done based in love. You know, everything is done based in serving and helping others less fortunate and helping to change the world. And, you know, also their message is to go share the word, go tell people about this. And that part is still a little new. Like, it's still a little, I'm still like, okay, I'll try. But I want to lead by example. You know, I want to show her what a strong, confident woman in faith can do. You can be strong and badass, but also be humble and kind and caring and compassionate. You can be all of those things. And I do see a difference in her. And like, for me, it's also like, for instance, so when I first got the kids, I was really struggling with punishment, like discipline. I was always the fun aunt who like showed up, hopped them up on sugar, took them to Disney, and then dropped them off and was like, see ya. And now it's my job to be like nurturer and disciplinarian. It's my job to give them all the love and affection and everything they need. And also make sure, like, no, mofo, like, you will eat this broccoli. You will listen to me. Like, you will do your homework. And that was a very new role for me. And I struggled a lot in the beginning, but went to church, went to counseling, family counseling, was, you know, getting help. We got these charts, and there's 2 different charts. There's the obedience chart, where it's like, okay, what are the big no-nos in the house? Like, okay, you can't hurt other people, no biting, no hitting, no this, no that. You know, you listen to your parents. You know, you don't want to be lazy, like, just all the things that you want your kids to learn. And then there's a Bible verse about why you should do this. And then there's a blank space, and you sit down with your kid and you write in, wow, okay, if you do this or you act out and I catch it, this is the punishment. It's not up to me. It's up to you. It's your choice, your decision, your life. But just know that this is the punishment. And of course, it's like run 15 laps, do 15. Like, it's like all, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, if she's going to end up hating exercise or if it's just going to make her super buff. I'm not sure yet. But it's helped. It's taken a huge pressure off of me. You know, Emery's are all just timeout still. Like, he just has to sit in timeout. He doesn't get it. Or time in. We sit down together and we take a deep breath, which sometimes works and sometimes he screams, no. So, but that's been amazing. And what was the question? Why am I rambling?
Well,
Sorry.
I'm curious if you think, you know, well, you did answer it, that they seem to indulge in it, and who knows, you know, you're not going to press it on them in the future.
Prayers every night, and she's like, she prays for these kids have been through a lot. They've had a lot of trauma, you know, their mom is struggling. their real mother is struggling. My mom was sick, was in and out of the hospital. They lost Bob. They're the only father figure they've ever known. They got picked up and moved, states away from everyone they've ever known.
How fast was that decision made for you? Like when your stepfather passed away?
I mean, I kind of decided like,
wow.
I got the phone call. I got on a plane that, a couple hours later.
Wow.
And I had kind of decided before I landed, like, I was like, I didn't know if my mom was going to come with me. I didn't know like exactly how it was going to work, but I just knew like I was going to take the kids. And I didn't, it was tough because I kind of just like came in and took over. So I'm sure that was hard it was good and bad in a way. Like I was like, I'm going to take the kids, Mimi and Papi, you're going to help mom. You're going to help. Like I stayed for a week to help her get through, like, obviously I was mourning as well, but I didn't really give myself like, I just put on the helmet and was like, all right, let's go. But then, yeah, that was it. I called my lawyer. I said, listen, I need you to help me. I'm going to take over guardianship. We got to get this all sorted so I can enroll her in school and do this and do that. And it was done.
At what point did you realize this isn't just, this is a forever thing?
I don't know. I think it just kind of like, I don't know if it was instant. Like, I think part of me kind of, it's a weird thing. Like my sister's story is her story. So I don't want to go into too much detail, but she's struggled for a long time. And I struggled with her struggling. Like I could never understand it. And part of me kind of always hoped like she'd get her shit together. But part of me also kind of was like, when I got the kids, then I was like, well, I love them. Like I selfishly, I was like, I can't let them, like, I would be panicked. I can't even imagine not talking to them for a day. Like, so it would be, they've become my whole world. And, my sister and I recently, we've been talking and we've agreed, like, we're going to do an open adoption. So like, she's still going to see them and, be a part of their life if she's able, but I'm going to become their mom. I'm going to be like, that's it. I'm going to forever. So, and I don't know that it was like, I knew they were never going to go back to my mom, but I didn't know if my sister was ever what was going to happen there. And I'm honestly still happy that we've come to this mutual agreement, and it's given me a lot of peace of mind and kind of helped me let go of some of the anger towards my sister and fear and anxiety about what would happen. So it's been good.
Was it hard for you also, I think, because if I well remember, this kind of story came to light, I don't want to say recently, but like not super long ago. A lot of it, but you did like really, and credit to you, did a good job of kind of, keeping what you were doing, not low key, but, so that no media was going to like start pressing you about and everything. Was that harder or easier for you? Did you feel like it was something that you were just doing kind of on your own, which made it even scarier, not to mention the actual challenge of becoming a mother?
Yeah. I mean, well, it was kind of like, obviously word got out and certain organizations and certain people, I don't want to say wanted to exploit it, but wanted to use it to promote things. Right. And I struggled with that at first. Like I was like, these are innocent babies and nobody knows what's going to happen. And I don't want to put them through any more craziness. And I eventually kind of came to a compromise where it was like, all right, if you really want to do a piece, you can come, I'll talk about the kids. I'm very open about it. And you can film them like at the park with me, but you're not going to come in our house. You're not going to take over our comforts. Like this is our oasis. This is our home. This is where we read bedtime stories and like make dinner, like we're going to keep something sacred. And it's been a good balance. It's hard because I don't ever want to, like, I'm not talking about it to make myself look good or feel good. Like, this is just the reality of my life now. Like, I'm a mom and I love it. And I want to tell people because I'm happy.
And I think also, I mean, I don't know how many, people have reached out. I'm sure a bunch of people have reached out, but, I think that you're an inspiration. There's the athlete, Kayla Harrison, and you're an inspiration in that sense. And then also, I think, this story, I'm sure for mothers, fathers, kids out there is inspirational and beautiful. And I think that, you're whether you know it or not, you're changing many people's lives and many people's perspectives. And, I'm sure for people that'll fall into similar situations where, overnight their lives are going to be upended, you're giving a lot of strength because it is, for someone who didn't go through it, you can't know what it's like, I imagine. So I'm curious, have there been, I'm sure people have reached out. I don't know how much you're able to see it or not. And if that's, if it's in a way also kind of a cool role to also have now where people look up to you in another way, than just the athlete Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, I think, man, I have so much more respect for parents in general. Like yes, people have reached out. I have like all kinds of like, I get all kinds of awesome messages and messages of support. And I think you're right. Like, people have become a fan of me because of this, which isn't the goal, but okay, great. That works for me. But it's like, first of all, I don't think there are enough good stories out there. Like, this is a good story. It's got some tragedy in it, but at the end of the day, we're good. We're happy. I hope I don't fuck it up. Like, I hope they come out and are like good, upstanding citizens of the community. And like, I hope that they are secure enough and feel safe enough and are loved enough to be fearless in whatever it is they choose to do and to pursue in their lives. And only time will tell. But I think I'm doing okay. And just like, no, man, moms and dads are so badass. Like, I'm fans of them. Like, if people haven't, like, if it hasn't made people fans of me, I've become fans of parents. Good parents, I should say. Not every good parent, but good parents. I'm like, yeah, you got this.
Is it also cool for you that you're in, I don't know if you consider it, but I think most people would say the prime of your career and getting into it, which is a scary thought for a lot of young women out there that want to go up against you. But is it also cool that this is happening at the same time where, you are highly considered to many as the most dominant, really athlete in MMA?
Oh, thank you. I don't know about that, but okay.
I think some people would say that, but.
Well, thank you. I think it's like, to be honest, I don't know how I got so lucky. Like, my whole life I wanted to be an Olympic champion. My whole life I wanted to, I wanted to be a millionaire because I wanted to make enough money to not have to worry my whole life. And then I wanted to become an MMA champion. Then I wanted to go down as the greatest, but I always wanted to be married with kids by 30. And I'm like, damn, I'm not married, but 2 kids, like, got my career. Everything's on point. I'm a millionaire. Like, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Like,
hey.
It's
it doesn't matter how you get there. It doesn't matter how you get there.
Yeah, it doesn't. They're all different paths. They're all different paths. And, I get the best of both worlds because I get to have my athletic career and be in the prime of it while raising 2 beautiful children. So
for you,
I cheated the system somehow.
I don't know if you cheat. I think you worked hard for that. But for you, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, the accolades, people can look those up. It's a very long list. But for you, what would be, when it's all said and done, MMA wise, or I guess fighting wise, athletic wise, is there certain things that you must have before you hang it up?
Yes.
What are those things?
This is a tough one to answer for me because of other outside forces, not because I don't want to answer it, just because I don't want to like stir the pot.
Whatever
anymore.
you're comfortable with.
I think I just really want to, I have kind of something in my mind that I know will solidify me as the greatest, one of the greatest, but my goal is to be the greatest. And I have a blueprint. I have a plan. I have an amazing structure of coaches and a foundation, and I'm disciplined. I'm driven. I know what it takes to get to the pinnacle of sport. I've done it. I've climbed a mountain before. I'm ready and willing and excited to climb this mountain again. And I'm just kind of, I'm checking off the boxes, you know, I'm slowly but surely putting one foot in front of the other and ticking off those boxes. And I know I'm not the greatest yet. I know you're saying a lot of nice things about me and I appreciate it, but I'm not there yet. And I know that, but I will be. I know I will be. And I can say that now. And people get like, MMA fans are interesting sometimes, but people get so upset when you say, like, when you believe in yourself or have confidence in yourself or are bold enough to claim that this is what you want. And I just don't, I'm like, why are you shitting on me? Should I say that I don't want to win and that I want to like be second best? Like, who says that? Who does that? I'm not saying I am right now, but I'm saying watch me, because I will be. And I think I can say that now because I am starting to have the confidence in MMA that I once had in judo, where I believed in, to my core, in my training. I believed in the hard work that I put in. I believed in the years of sacrifice and work and perfecting this one thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. I'm not at 10,000 hours or whatever yet in MMA, but I'm getting pretty close. I'm 10 fights in. And I believe it. I believe that I have what it takes. I do.
I'm curious, really just quick to take you back to your judo career. Was there one moment in your judo career where you knew, like, I am just quite simply the best in the world? Did it mean the gold medal? Did it mean something before that?
I think really, I mean, when I won the gold medal in the Olympics, like
In 2012?
In 2012, yes, the first one. Everyone was like, I was like, holy shit, we did it. Like, it was just such an amazing experience. But not a lot. I mean, there was not a lot of like, I don't know. I think in 2016 when I won again, then I was like, yeah, no, I'm a bad mofo. Like, you can't touch me. Like, this is, I was so good. I did it twice. Like, not to sound like that in my mind, I was like, damn girl, like you really did that twice.
I'm curious too, you know, and I mean, people can, first of all, KaylaHarrison.com is a great site because it's super informative. And if people want to know more about your life and it's, you know, it's ups and downs. But I'm curious for you on a personal level, did you, throughout your, you know, life, did you always have this inner belief in yourself, even through the hardest moments, the toughest moments, that you knew deep down, I am everything that I know I am, which is, you know, perhaps one of the baddest women in the world, but also, you know, I believe in myself.
No, I didn't. I think that there were, you know, I definitely have hit rock bottom. I would say more than once in my life. And like, for those of you who don't know, I was sexually abused by my first judo coach. And after that, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in anything for a while, you know, like I was so, I felt so broken, and I was suicidal, and I hated my mom. I hated my life. I hated the Pedros. I hated judo. I hated everything. like to my core, I hated myself. And I did not believe that I was ever going to get out of that. I did not believe that I was ever going to be that special person that I was supposed to be. I did not have faith that that was going to happen. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it here really quick. I had just competed I was 16 and I had been at the Pedros for about 6 months. So I was abused from from 8 until 16. When I was 16, I finally told my mom what was happening. She got the police involved. The police got the FBI involved. Bang, bang, boom. The court process starts. He eventually pleads guilty and serves 10 years in federal prison. But in the meantime, about a month after I told my mom, I wasn't getting out of bed. I was barely alive. And she knew that. I think she was scared shitless. And I think she was like, I have to give her something to wake up for. I have to get her out of here. So she moved me to Boston. And I lived in the judo house with that the Pedros had set up for Team Force. And I hated her for it at the time. Like I didn't know I hated her, but I was so upset that she left me, that just a lot of angst, and confusion. But she also had 2 kids, and it's not easy to pick up your whole life. And my mother and I have an amazing relationship now, and we've worked through all of that. And I know without a doubt that she made the best decision in that moment for us. Like, I know she was just trying to do her best for me, and everything she did was out of love. I know that. And that's why we're able to have a great relationship now. But anyways, I had been at the Pedros for about 6 months, and they wanted me to go to high school, because I had been going online so I could train. And they were like, no, you need to be normal. Like, I was going to school, I was going to therapy. I had spent time in a mental institution. I was suffering from severe PTSD, like just all kinds of fucked up stuff where, I got a burner phone, and he would call me and tell me that he was going to come get me, and we were going to run away, and trying to coerce me into not testifying, and a lot of crazy shit happening. But anyways, I went to this tournament I didn't want to go to, the US Open, and I ended up winning, and everyone was so excited that I won. Everyone was like, I think they were just happy that I had a good thing happen, And I remember being just numb. I just remember the ref awarding me the match, my coach jumping up, Big Jim, who is very grumpy old man, was like, ah. I was just numb, and I felt empty and broken, and I was never going to be happy again, and I was never going to have hope again. And that's when I decided I was going to quit. I was going to quit judo. I was going to run away to New York and be a barista and make people's coffee. And that was what I was going to do. So we flew home, and I went up to Big Jim's lake house, and it was 7:00 in the morning, and he's sitting out there smoking a cigar. And it was a beautiful day. And I gave him reason after reason, excuse after excuse. I didn't want to be the strong girl. I hated judo. This wasn't for me. I wasn't meant to be the golden girl. And I wasn't happy. It was too hard. I cried and I cried and I cried. And I said, I can't do it, Big Jim. I'm going to quit. And what he said to me in this moment really, I get a little emotional talking about it, because he really changed the trajectory of my life. He said to me, you know what, kid? What happened to you happened to you. And it's a terrible thing. But it doesn't define you. You're only a victim if you allow yourself to be. Now you've got a chance to go do something great with your life, but only you can decide. And, I sat there soaking it in, and I said, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define me. And I said, okay, Big Jim, I'll see you at practice tomorrow. And, I didn't believe in myself, but he did. And he gave me the strength to keep showing up, to not quit on myself, to not end it, to not dare to be great, And it wasn't like, I didn't just like, oh, I'm better. But I did the work, first of all, I would get out of bed and I would brush my teeth and I would brush my hair, which was like an accomplishment at that point in my life. That's how low I was. And then I would go to practice and I would cry the whole time, but I was there. And then I would go to school, and then I would go to work, and then I would go to therapy. And I just kept kind of like chipping away. And then I started going to tournaments, and then I started medaling at tournaments. And then I started like hanging out with all the team in the living room instead of going right to my room. And then I started to like smile every once in a while. And then I started to not cry all practice, every practice. And then I won a tournament, and then I won another, and then I became a junior world champion. And then it was just like this snowball effect of positive people around me, pulling me, dragging me. I mean, he was right. It was my choice. I had to decide that that's what I wanted. But once I decided, they were right there to push me up. And I'm just, I hope everyone finds a Big Jim for their lives. I think everyone needs someone like him.
Do you think Big Jim saved your life? Do you think judo saved your life?
Both. I mean, I give Big Jim probably way more credit, but having a goal, having a purpose, having something to be great at, something to wake up for, definitely helped save me.
And do you, so you said you still talk to Big Jim frequently, yeah?
Yeah, all the time.
And how has that relationship changed since, he, from that moment where you're at your lowest low, to now where he's seen you grow up into this, into a woman, into a mother, into everything that your life has been. I'm sure for him, that's probably the most beautiful and most gratifying feeling in the world.
He'll never say that. But.
Okay. But I'm sure if I sat down with him, I'm sure he would admit it at some point.
That's who you should have a talk with. I'm not kidding. He is a character.
What?
But I think we have had, again, a roller coaster of a relationship. He's like a father figure to me for sure, but also now like one of my best friends. And it's hard because he's the coach too. So it was always like, he helped build and create this very strong, confident woman. But like, I was supposed to shut up and do what I was told when I was his athlete, So it was like kind of, we always had a little bit of a struggle there, but he's never wavered, he's never not been there for me. And I hope that he's proud of me. We have a good relationship now. Like, he's still always in my corner. I always invite him to the fights. He has kind of stopped coming because of COVID and all this crap. But I hope he's proud of me. I mean, we don't really like say it, but I tell him like, I love you. I miss you. Like, he's like he's a masshole. He's like really, probably never going to get a lot of emotions or feelings out of him, but that's okay. Cause he cares by his actions, and he'd give you the shirt off his back. He's always been there for me. And I think, yeah, he's got to be proud of me at this point. Like, he has. I hope so.
If he's not, then Big Jim, we got to talk. But I've taken a lot of your time already, but I'm always curious, to ask my guests what they think, their legacy is, and yours will be, as an MMA fighter, as a human being, hopefully many, many more years of healthy, beautiful life. But, I wonder, what you hope it to be, because I think maybe 2 years ago, it might be very different than what it is today.
For sure. That's something that as I've gotten older too, I start thinking about a lot more: legacy and what that means to me personally. And I used to think that I just wanted to be like the biggest badass, just like I'm going to go down as a bad mofo. Like that's what I wanted, but that's not what I want at all anymore. You're right. My idea of legacy has changed so much. I think that number one, my legacy will be my children. Number two, in my career, not being dominant or winning, but what I do with it. I know that I am going to be dominant. I know that I'm going to be great. I know that I'm going to win. But more importantly, what am I going to do with that? How am I going to be the change in the world that I want to see? How am I going to leave a lasting impact that causes a ripple effect for long after I'm gone? How can I do that? And I do that in the way I live, in the way I talk, and who I am, and what I say, and how I carry myself. I do that in my foundation and giving back and trying to put an end to child sexual abuse, and just in the way that I believe is how we are meant to live. My philosophy is that when you wake up every day and you try to be the best possible version of yourself, and in life, whether it's fighting, whether it's you're a single mom, whether it's you're a house mom, whether it's you're a CEO, whether it's you're the janitor, whatever it is, whether you're a brother, a mother, a son, like whatever, when you try to truly better yourself every day, that's when I know true peace. That's when I know happiness. That's when I just allow the world, the universe to continue to bless me, because I know that I'm doing it right. And when I do that, when I stand in my truth, no matter what the cost, I think that everybody benefits, the world benefits. And that's going to be my legacy. I'm going to keep doing that every day, one day at a time.
Amen. Beautiful. But I will say, so for people, that foundation is the Fearless Foundation. You do, obviously, it's a lot of great work there. Kayla.
It's live now. fearlessfoundation.org.
Beautiful. fearlessfoundation.org for people listening out there. And Kayla, I just want to thank you again, because on a personal level, as an athlete and as a human being, you inspire me. So I thank you for that. And I'm sure that all the people that are listening out there that either know you or are getting to know you feel the same way. So I want to thank you for taking the time, I know, out of your busy day. And I'm based out of New York. So if you're ever in New York, I'd of course love to have you in studio, or if I'm ever down in Florida. But
that's on my to-do list. That's when I have Kayla time now, I'm going to listen to your podcast. I really love the concept. I applaud you for what you're just like, nah, I'm following this. I'm chasing this. And that's so badass. So good for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All
right.
Thank you, Kayla.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram @Felix.Levine. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment.